Everybody, we're labeling like this unicorn thing. Everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years, but he's more like an alien.
Victor Wembanyama is definitely one of the main talks in basically any town that follows basketball. One of the most hyped-up prospects in basketball history, Victor Wembanyama is a freakishly talented player who rightfully ended up as the #1 pick in the 2024 NBA Draft. A pretty successful rookie campaign with averages of 21.4 points, 10.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 3.6 blocks, Victor definitely proved his worth in his very first NBA season. Let's hear how shocked and impressed some of the NBA's top players were after playing against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Only the most legendary NBA players can say that they have had a career that is worthy of mentioning among the greatest careers ever. One of them is certainly LeBron James, one of the rare players who could say that they have been as hyped as, or even more than Victor Wembanyama was ahead of the 2024 NBA Draft. LeBron James is the original ultimate #1 pick. Throughout his career, he has basically seen it all, except for a 7'4" tall, lengthy center who can shoot, dribble, and run the open court. So LeBron James was impressed by Victor, to say the least.
He's special, and he has an unbelievable coach that's going to make sure that he does things the right way, play the game the right way, and he's going to continue to develop. But he's already special, but he's going to continue to get better and better and better, each and every game, each and every year that he steps on his floor.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 2023-24 NBA regular season campaign was something to behold of. Alexander led the OKC Thunder to a first seed in a tough Western Conference, something that very few people expected to happen ahead of the regular season. Alexander got a lot of his teammates to step up, including Chet Holmgren, who was Wemby's biggest rival for the Rookie of the Year award. Obviously, with this into consideration, Alexander is going to keep it a bit more modest when it comes to complimenting Victor Wembanyama, but like everybody else, Alexander knows that Wemby is legit.
Yeah, they early in the game, their weak side was collapsing on every drive and just randomly, it wasn't like a rotation, especially I don't want to butcher his name, Victor. He would just come in on every drive to try to block it. And I think we got caught a couple times early in the game. And then once we start not taking the bait and moving it, they were spread out, and then we were able to get layups later in the game.
Playing against Victor Wembanyama is tough for any player, no matter their size. Wembanyama's length and ability to protect the rim are two of his most special abilities on the court. Atlanta Hawks point guard Trey Young experienced this firsthand. Trey is one of the craftiest finishers in the league. With a 6'1" frame, he basically has to be. But in the game between his Hawks and Wembanyama's San Antonio Spurs, even a creative finisher like Trey Young struggled to find a way to score over Victor Wembanyama's 8-foot-long wingspan. After the game, an impressed Trey Young explained how tough it is to score against a player of Wembanyama's stature.
I mean, he's a presence every time he's on the floor. You don't know if he's going to block your shot or go back to the big for the lob. And offense, they use him a lot better in that second half, throwing it up to him. Sometimes you feel for him. He has some open looks. Sometimes they don't get it to him. And they were getting it to him in that second half on those lobs and just throwing it up to him. And we had to do a better job, but I'm glad we closed it out.
Just like Trey Young, Golden State Warriors point guard Steph Curry is one of the craftiest finishers in the league. Rarely relying on his athleticism, Steph finds creative ways like his now signature floater to finish around the rim over bigger guys. Steph Curry is one of the most difficult players to stop in the game because of his ability to score from basically any spot on the court. But Victor Wembanyama managed to somewhat contain him on multiple possessions, using his length and underrated speed. Steph Curry, like always, gave props to a player that impressed him. And safe to say, he was really impressed by Victor.
Yeah, it's he's a presence. He's different in that respect where I had a lot of daylight and thought I could get it up. I saw him coming, but thought I could get it up quick enough. And even the way he blocked it still looked weird. I'm looking at the bench. It's like, is that goaltending? Nah, he probably got it. So just a reminder, if there are options out there, but you can't disregard, where he's at every possession just because it's something you haven't seen before.
When it comes to finishing around the rim, Ja Morant is one of the best guards in the league in doing so. Ja is not the biggest guard, but unlike Steph Curry and Trey Young, he relies more on his crazy athleticism to get to the basket. In a game between Ja's Memphis Grizzlies and Victor Wembanyama's San Antonio Spurs, Ja Morant had the golden opportunity to get revenge on Victor for blocking his shots a couple of times, and he actually did. On a drive to the basket, Ja crossed up Victor Wembanyama and managed to pull off something that not many players would even try, and that is to put Victor Wembanyama on a poster. This caused a crazy reaction. However, Ja Morant tried to play it cool in the post-game interview, considering the play just to be like any other play.
Moment was just like any other moment for me when somebody guarded me. My goal is to score, so nah. I didn't get no, wake up, yeah, I'm gonna go. Nah, it wasn't no excitement. I don't try to dunk on people like I used to no more, so just get a bucket, man. Find a way.
Chris Paul is one of the smartest basketball players that we have witnessed. With a small frame of only 6 feet, CP3 has had to adapt his game on the court and rely heavily on his basketball IQ and touch around the rim in order to get his buckets. Even though Chris Paul was never considered as a score-first guy, he can basically score against any matchup and make any defense uncomfortable. However, once he faced Victor Wembanyama, he had a little bit of trouble getting to his sweet spots, as Wemby managed to contain him in multiple possessions. CP3 is a student of the game who appreciates greatness and tries to learn the most from it. So of course, he gave Victor his kudos after the game and shared his impressions in the post-game interview.
I mean, sometimes you try to put him in the action away from the ball just to keep him far away from the rim, but he's such a smart player and a good defender that he changed a couple of my middies tonight. Yeah, you got to shoot it to the moon, you know what I mean? And one of the lobs I threw to Trace, he got a hand on it. So he does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Ever since he won the Most Improved Player award in the 2015-16 NBA season, New Orleans Pelicans guard CJ McCollum has been a consistent 20 points per game scorer. Although rarely being relied on as the first option on the court, CJ has kept his reputation as one of the better guard scorers in the league, and he is consistently trying to learn new things about the game of basketball and the new talent coming into the NBA. So, naturally, he has a high opinion on Victor Wembanyama and believes that the French unicorn has a really bright future ahead of him. And even though everybody around the league knows that, the main focus is on their own season.
I think when he was first coming out and before Summer League, there was a lot of buzz, a lot of people talking about him, him being a taller version of KD. You hear all the comparisons, and then you get to see him play. You understand that he's young, he's very skilled, he's got pop, he's within the Spurs organization, so they're going to grow and develop him properly, and he'll become very successful, I would imagine, based on his talent and the location of where he's at. But I think now everybody just kind of focus on their own seasons. So many things have happened, the Dame trade. You look at all the things that have happened where the storyline kind of shifts and flips. But I think once the season starts and you start to see matchups, you start to watch games, then the highlights will come together and you'll be able to see and talk more about Victor. But I think right now everybody's just so locked into understanding how hard this season is going to be every night, with teams being better, teams executing better, playing faster, all those things mattering. I think guys are just really locked into their own situations right now.
Being your team's top scorer when you have Kevin Durant as your teammate is a tough challenge, no matter the age and status that KD is in. However, Phoenix Suns shooting guard Devin Booker is one of the best scorers in the NBA and managed to finish the 2023-24 NBA regular season with an average of 27.1 points per game, tied for first on the Phoenix Suns roster with, you guessed it, Kevin Durant. Devin Booker is one of the best scorers that the NBA has, who can score against basically any matchup that you put up against him, no matter their size, strength, athleticism. Booker will make it a difficult task to contain him. But there was one example of a player that got D-Book surprised a little bit, trying to find different solutions to get past him. That player is, of course, the 7'4" tall Victor Wembanyama, who Booker admitted that he still tries to figure out on offense.
He's unbelievable talent. Everybody knows that. Just trying to figure out what he is because we've never seen him before. So we got him early in the season. Hopefully next time we play him, we can make some adjustments to make it tougher on him. But he has an advantage being 7'4" and being able to shoot over everybody. So finding different ways to make it tough on him.
Kawhi Leonard is one of the best players on the court. That is when he is on the court in the first place. Kawhi does not often talk to the NBA media a lot, but during the 2023-24 NBA season, it was impossible to hang around the media, especially after a game versus the San Antonio Spurs, and not be asked to talk a bit about the season's most popular rookie and one of the most popular players in general, Victor Wembanyama. Kawhi kept it brief as always, but still gave his words of approval for the young, up-and-coming French superstar.
He's going to be good. It's still early in the season, obviously, but, once he figures out where he's going to be getting his shots and reading defenses, I think he's going to be good. I feel like he got more aggressive, like a more aggressive mentality as he started this season off. And, I think he'll just keep getting better.
Dearon Fox is one of the physically most gifted guards in the league. Probably the fastest player in the NBA, Dearon Fox uses his speed to blow past defenders on his way to finish at the rim. However, in order to get past the long arms of Victor Wembanyama, you need to have a really good start, which even Fox sometimes struggled to do. In the interview after the game, the Sacramento Kings point guard shared a few of his impressions with the media.
Nothing can prepare you for that type of length. Like, doesn't matter who you play against, if it's not Wemby, nothing prepares you for that. So, obviously he's older, he's stronger than most in this league, and just obviously you go up against someone like that, you try to go into their chest, you try to make it a physical game. At the end of the day, obviously he's going to block shots regardless of how the game's going. He's going to get 2 or 3 blocks no matter what happens. But that can really weigh on you. You know, you get hit over and over again. It's a physical game, and that's the way Domas plays. And obviously this is Wemby's first year in the league, and that's kind of what I feel like everybody was like, oh, can he handle the physicality? I think he can. I think you kind of have to get used to it and then learn how to dish it out without fouling, but Domas did what he does.
Donovan Mitchell's dominant presence when attacking the rim sometimes has us thinking he is bigger than he actually is. However, the Cleveland Cavaliers guard is just 6'3", which is the same height as Steph Curry. Due to his powerful drives and the fear that he brings to defenses, his frame seems to be bigger on the court. In a game between the San Antonio Spurs and Cleveland Cavaliers in January 2024, Donovan Mitchell had his fair share of struggles, finishing the game with 1 out of 10 from behind the three-point line, as well as having 4 turnovers. As someone who has been around Rudy Gobert for as long as Mitchell has been, you would think that he would know what it would be like to finish against defenders with such long hands. Donovan thought the same. However, Victor's presence got him surprised on numerous occasions during the game, thus leading to unusual misses and bad passes. Donovan Mitchell was really impressed by what he saw from Wembanyama and made sure to give him his credits in the interview he gave after the game.
He's as advertised. He's I don't know if he's going to fill out like Giannis or what it'll be, but right now he's doing things that, you know, you can tell he's young, but he's doing things that, you know, like, oh, you can see it. You know, you can see what he will ultimately be. The competitor he is. I saw it against the Bucks. Seen it tonight, never stopping. He's already a defensive monster. You know, the one where he took the ball and I had to shoot it in the corner. Like, I'm pretty sure he was 3 or 4 feet away from me. You know, that most bigs don't have the wingspan to get there and play the lob with J.A. So, you know, those are things just disruptive defensively that he already has. And, you know, I've already played with Rudy. And, you know, to see him and to see someone bigger and, you know, longer than him, I think is the sorry. You know, I think is, you know, it's pretty wild.
Before Victor Wembanyama's arrival on the biggest stage, Luca Doncic was probably the most hyped-up European prospect to get drafted into the NBA. Well on his way to have one of the most impressive NBA careers, especially from a European player, Luka finished off the 2023-24 NBA regular season with crazy averages of 33.9 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 9.2 assists. These are just crazy numbers, which would probably be talked about a bit more in a different season, when people get at least somewhat used to seeing Victor Wembanyama play. As far as the 2023-24 season goes, people were still talking about their impressions about Victor, and it would be a lie if we said that Luka was not impressed by the young French unicorn.
I mean, he's going to be amazing. He already is. You know, the size, obviously, like everybody talks. But, you know, he has the way he moves for 7'5", 7'6", I don't know, what is it? Sorry. But he moves incredible. He moves like a point guard almost. So it's pretty amazing to see him. Like Grant said, you know, he's going to have a great future and he's going to be amazing to watch.
The NBA has a long list of players whose bodies will leave you questioning just how far human nature can go with this. Victor Wembanyama is definitely on the list, possibly on the top of it as well. However, there have been a lot of players ahead of him there, such as Pelicans forward Zion Williamson, a 6'6", 285-pound beast who can jump out of the gym and has the strength of a powerlifter. That pretty much sums up Zion Williamson, a player who does not care who is in front of him on his way to the rim. However, in the game versus the Spurs, even he had to keep in mind where Wembanyama was in order to get to the rim safely. He was really impressed by Victor's performance that night.
Victor's a very special player. We were just talking about in the locker room. He's a dude that can get 2 or 3 Defensive Player of the Years, and also, I don't want to put no limit on it, but he can get Defensive Player of the Years and MVPs. Because we haven't seen nothing like that. We've seen things close, but not like that. I mean, he's an amazing player, and I think, especially with Pop over there, he's going to continue to develop.
After giving him his credit, he talked a bit more about Victor's presence on the court, especially on the defensive end.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to be aware of stuff like that. I mean, like I said, he got the block shot on me 2 plays before, and I thought I had the layup. So, I mean, in a situation like that, I just got to be aware where everybody's at.
Jarrett Allen is one of the better shot blockers we have in the league. A quick and light-footed 7-footer with great length, Allen uses his attributes to cause the offensive players a lot of problems. Victor Wembanyama has those same qualities as well, but with potential to become even greater than Allen. After the game between the Cavs and Spurs, Jarrett shared his impressions on Victor, who, despite being a great defender, got 29 points dropped against him.
I'm excited for him. He's going to have a long career in this league. He's talented, can take people off the dribble, excellent shot blocker, post up. He has it all. So I'm happy for him, and I hope he excels. You never know, you never realize how big his wingspan and how tall he is until you actually go up against him. And that just surprised me tonight.
Victor Wembanyama is surely one of the NBA's most promising players and future face of the league. His physical attributes set him apart already, but it is his work ethic and passion for the game that will take him to the all-time greats conversation. After a great rookie campaign, he is definitely going the right way. Let's hope for the best for Wemby's future as an NBA player.